Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here, and you are very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. I don't care if you love me or hate me or think I'm ugly or don't like the bump on my head or the way my hair is. I haven't even done anything. I haven't even had a shower yet. I don't care. I love you all. Welcome to Wednesday's edition of the dceu Daily. Now, I want this to be a channel for everyone. Mostly I will talk about the dceu and DC, but I will talk about films and basically whatever's in my heart. But mainly it's about the dceu, and you're going to get an edition of the dceu Daily every single day. Therefore, why it's called Daily. First of all, I have an important message from Chris Wong.
Hi, my name is Chris Wong from the Ping Pong Flick Show here in Honolulu, Hawaii. Please join us on April 22nd to tweet, Instagram, and or Facebook a video to Warner Brothers, Warner Media Group, and AT&T and request to them to release the Snyder Cut of Justice League. Find your courage within to voice your concerns as a consumer and support auteur filmmaking and protect the artistic creative integrity of the individuals and give credit where credit is due to the cast and crew members that help make our dreams come true. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris, for that very important message. You can find Chris on Ping Pong Flicks on YouTube. I think you can find him as Chris Wong. He's also got another header released, the Snyder Cut, on his Twitter as well. Great guy, great lad, doing a really, really great, important job. Now, every day we're hearing about new people who played characters in the Snyder Cut who have not got credit for doing so. Now, I want to make this entirely clear that these actors, whether they're male or female, all were paid for their work, because that's going around the community. I don't like misinformation just to forward an agenda. They were paid. But one of the most important things in this industry, because I'm a part of this industry, no, I'm not famous or well known, but I'm part of this industry in a very small level, right? But one of the most important things when you're looking for work is to have kind of billings and to make sure you're credited for your work, because when you go for a job, the people who want to employ you need to know that you work. They need evidence. If I came on here and I said, well, yeah, I was on an Iron Apple reality show and I'm developing the first English-speaking dramas on Cyprus TV, and there was no credit to that, and I wasn't credited for doing that by the networks I'm working with right now, then I could just be someone who's just escaped from a mental institution pretending I'm doing something relevant. So it's very important for actors and people who work in this industry to be able to have credits for what they've done. So this is a very serious thing, and it's a big loophole. And of course, it helps. It's another angle to help pressure Warner Brothers into releasing the Snyder Cut. Now, I would think if Warner Brothers are a company of any sort, they'll be trying to remedy this immediately. So very important message from Chris there. So on April the 22nd, I forgot what month we were in. April the 22nd, there's a campaign by all these guys and girls who are kind of trying to fight for the Snyder Cut. So what they really want you to do is to all record a video, whether it's on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or whatever, and just tag Warner Brothers, where it's Warner Brothers Pictures, Warner Media, at Warner Brothers Pictures, at Warner Brothers Media. Tag them within your video. It's not that complicated to do. Now, I know a lot of you don't make videos, you don't do this, maybe you're not confident, but as Chris said, find your inner hero, right? Just go for it. You don't have to look good. Listen, look, ugly geezer with terrible voice, stupid computer. I haven't even got a microphone. I don't even have editing software. And by the way, I want to thank everyone who's took me over 600 subscribers. Now, I know to you biggie YouTubers, over 600 subscribers isn't a big deal, but I have no fake subscribers. I've never bought any subscribers. I've never done any advertising. And you've all come here because I assume you're interested in what I've got to say. Thank you for being part of our community. And right now, our community is fighting for the Snyder Cut. So all you have to do, right, is basically record your video. It doesn't matter who you are, what you look like. Basically, record your video, talk to Warner Brothers directly and tell them why you think they should release the Snyder Cut. Here are some tips. Don't be aggressive. Don't be rude. Be as polite as possible. Just tell them why you love Zack Snyder, why you want to see this film, and why you think it's time it happens now rather than later. Right. Now, the header of this video, of course, is why do I want to see the Snyder Cut? Right, why do I support release the Snyder Cut? Well, listen, I've loved Superman since I was a wee boy, 12 years old, watching Superman the movie with my dad and my brother. It was an amazing experience, it really was, as a young boy to be introduced to Superman. But I was introduced to Superman through the nicotine adverts, right? So basically, it was an anti-smoking advert, and basically there was this villain called Nicotine, and he was lurking around schools trying to peddle cigarettes. And, I actually used to think that Nicotine was from the comics, and I was actually disappointed Nicotine wasn't in Superman the movie. So I didn't know much about actually the Superman comics, but that's how I fell in love with Superman. And then obviously I fell in love with the Batman TV show with Adam West, and that got me even more into DC. And then it all became really quiet with DC live action. But then what happened was I was introduced to the most beautiful TV show ever called Smallville. Now, Smallville made a lot of changes to the Superman legend, but for me, they were beautiful changes. I fell in love with that show. I learned all about DC Comics. I really learned about the characters because they brought in a lot of DC characters later on in that show. So Smallville really harnessed the love not only that I had for Superman, but for DC as well. And then, obviously, we had Superman Returns, which I thought was an okay movie. We can go on about that, but there's no point talking about that. Let's not waste valuable oxygen on talking about the rights and wrongs of that film. Then, of course, we had the Dark Knight trilogy, which was absolutely awesome. And then it began for me falling in love with this director called Zack Snyder through Man of Steel. I remember watching the trailers for Man of Steel, and I said to my younger brother, surely this film can't be this good, this epic, looks so amazing. Sure, when someone's offering you a deal that's too good to be true, and you think, no, I'm not going to buy that. I don't know what I'm going to get here. That was me with Man of Steel. So I went to see Man of Steel for the first time, and I was being quite vocal. I was actually annoying people. I was going, oh my God. I'm thinking, this is an awesome film. It's not the way I'd make a Superman film, but this is an awesome film. It is brilliant. It works. It's not just the same thing we've seen. It's Superman on another level. What was interesting to me with Man of Steel, because a lot of people with Superman Returns actually complained that there wasn't enough action, that Lois Lane was too young. So when the detractors of Man of Steel watch Man of Steel, they were saying things like, oh, too much action and Lois Lane's too old. So you just can't please some people, can you? But Man of Steel was such a visceral film. It was an in-your-face film. The choreography, the tone of the film, it was beautiful. And to cast Russell Crowe as Jor-El is, look, I was talking about Russ being Jor-El for many, many years. I thought he is one of the great actors of his generation. And I thought, as Marlon Brando was at the time. So it was a great pick. And we had a great cast. And we also had a great European cast in Man of Steel as well. But it's a great film. And I was so excited for the future. So I was surprised about people criticising, for example, the box office. I thought the box office, at that time, before the MCU had like billion-dollar solo movies, it was actually a really good box office. But anyway, you shouldn't be focused on box office. You should be focused on the quality of the film. Man of Steel is an amazing film. Yeah, it's a bit more compelling. It's a bit more somber in places. But it's a brilliant piece of entertainment. And then we get to Batman v Superman. I came out of the cinema after watching that film I felt breathless. I felt like, oh my God, I have just seen a film that may be even better than Nolan's Dark Knight. Surely critics and fans are going to be talking very positively about this film. Of course, this is one of the most maligned movies in filmmaking history, and I do understand why, because Warner Brothers made a mistake. They sold it as a popcorn chomping flick instead of this kind of, indie type of superhero film. But it works on every level, and it was a breathtaking film. And when Superman dies, I'm in bits. A lot of people say, "Oh, you killed him too soon because we didn't get to know him." Oh, for Christ's sake! You could do one film and a character dies, and you feel the emotion. We didn't need 20 movies to kill off Superman and do the kind of Death of Superman thing. But the point for me, before I kind of go into more why I absolutely love Snyder's vision of the DCEU and why I think it's brilliant. And it's not just brilliant because it's different to what the MCU do. His films, the DCEU films, are actually films in their own right. They're not just put in a franchise, right? In years to come, people will be talking about Snyder's movie. In years to come, people who support the MCU will only be watching Avengers, the first Avengers, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, and Captain America the Winter Soldier. They're individual classic films in their own right. But then when you get into the DCEU and you see films like Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Wonder Woman, they are free of the best CBMs ever made. Now this takes me to my point that I've taken forever to kind of get to, right? And I'm sorry if I've bored you or you've clicked off, right? But at the end of the day, right, the reason I want to see release the Snyder Cut, and listen, I can talk about artistic freedom and integrity. I'm a creative myself. That is extremely important. What happened to Zack Snyder was wrong on so many levels. But really, I'm a consumer, I'm a fan. I just want to see the damn film. Because the Justice League theatrical cut was a film that was just hastily put together. But this, my friends, we are talking about a film that's part... Listen, this is the film that continues from Batman v Superman. If you're watching me, if you're watching this video, basically you love Batman v Superman, you love MOS, right? And you wanted to see the continuation of that trilogy. It was originally a 5-movie plan. And it would have been fantastic along the same lines as Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. This film needs to be watched. Now, what's happened since Justice League is that Walter Hamada's come in. He came in, he made a lot of relevant changes with James Wan, with Aquaman. I know some people are saying that basically Birds of Prey or Joker is going to be Hamada's first film. That's not true. Shazam is actually his first film. But anyway, right, it doesn't matter that they were working on Aquaman before Walter came in. He made a lot of changes to that film. So they've restructured the journey of this franchise. But that doesn't mean we can't see the Snyder Cut. No. Basically, just release it as the real Justice League movie, as I keep on saying. Warner Brothers, this is really, really important. This is not just for us who want to see this film, who want to see this director's vision. It's important for you as a company, because in the future you will go down as a company who released a film in the Justice League theatrical cut which simply should never have been released, was never in the right condition, the right quality for any film to be released. And it's an embarrassment in the history of the DCEU, because the other films are absolutely awesome. No matter what anybody says, they are awesome movies. Every one of those films has kind of a relevant status of being pretty awesome in places, whether you're talking about Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, Aquaman and Shazam. I think those films are films to be proud of. So I do want to see the Snyder Cut, because I know it's going to be an epic, worthwhile viewing experience, and it continues the arcs that were set up for Batman v Superman. We deserve to see this film. I think it's despicable that we're having to fight for this film. Warner Brothers, you're going to make a lot of money by releasing this film. Now, I don't know if you're waiting until you can release it at the highest capacity to make the most money. But listen, Kevin Sujihara, the man who was running your company, made a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. It's time to correct that mistake. Now, I know studios don't like to advertise or admit their mistakes, but you don't have to do that. You just have to release this damn movie and give it to us. Let us have it. We don't want it for free. We'll pay. Just give us this movie, because this movie is something incredibly important now. And if you release it, your reputation will go sky high. More and more people will support you, and the attention goes off the MCU. Because all of a sudden, there's a very interesting film being released, a film that's going to be epic and compelling and look beautiful, the continuation of Batman v Superman as it should have been. Because the Justice League theatrical cut was an attempt to MCU up the DCEU, and it failed. We deserve an awesome entry of a Justice League movie, and that's exactly what the Snyder Cut is.